Good evening. Good evening. Glad you could join us.
Hello, Mr.
Uh,
J.
Destiny, you had a what you've been working on. You said mean, median, mode, and range. What I can tell
Yeah.
you about that is it's on every single exam except reading. It's on your
Mm.
math exam. It's on your science exam. It's on your social studies. So you have to make sure mean, median, mode, and range are um in your wheelhouse. Now, mode you really don't see, but mean, median, and range are on all three of your exams, social studies, science, and your math. So did you have any questions on, did you know how to do those or,
Hold on, let me go to my notes. Number that is most simple. I believe it's the mode mainly that probably gets me, but
well, that's the easiest one. The mode
yeah,
is
number that
what,
appears that most is only
that's
one
easy.
is that the
So
average of their
the problem is, first of all, you're probably not going to have it on your GED, but
yeah.
it's what number appears the most. So you can have more than one mode, or you can have no mode. So if everything just appears once, then you got no mode. Say you have two numbers that appear twice, then you have two modes. So mode is fairly simple. It's probably, but you
Mhm.
probably won't see it on your exam. But mean, median, and range, you will. Now, range, they might not use the term range. They might say, differentiation. They might say different things of that nature. Matter of fact, let me see if I um show you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me see. Do I have one open? No, I do not. Let me see. Mm, 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 mm. How about you, Javette? What you been working on?
I had a lot going on this week. I'm sorry. Yeah, I really have not been doing any.
Listen, life is life, right?
Yeah, it is. It's been crazy. It's been crazy this week.
But you want to try to find a way to get something in, just so
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. And working these overnight shifts does not make it easy.
No, that don't make it easy either.
Mm.
So let me try to find an example of a mean. Let me see. Yeah, so last Monday was a holiday. Did everybody enjoy their holiday or extended weekend?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
did. Thank you. Hope you did too.
What'd you say?
I said, hope you did too.
Yeah, I did. I said, let's look. Not just, I just literally download this off the internet. So now the problem is, right? We know how to do the mean, right? So that's just the average. So the average is just you add the numbers up and multiply by divide by how many there are, right? But what I can tell you is that that's probably not the question you're going to see. They're going to probably give you a question. Can y'all see my screen?
No.
Oh, so I was just talking and you didn't tell me. Let's
I
see. How
just
about,
added on the laptop too. So I got a laptop to get on.
okay, good. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see the screen.
Okay, so part of the problem is when you're in class, they're showing you how to do the mean and you just add the numbers up and divide by how many there are. You know how to do the median, put them in order, and you find the one in the middle, right? But the problem is they give you a question like this. When a number X is added to the set of numbers, 5, 7, 8, 12, 6, 10, 11, the new mean is 9. So they're giving you the average, and then you have to find the missing value. Okay. So remember, think think in a logical step. So to find the mean, I add them up and then divide by how many they are. But if I know the mean, I'm working backwards. So I multiply by how many there are and I subtract. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 numbers here. But a new number makes 8. So there's 8 values.
Mhm.
So if the mean is 7, we're going to work backwards. Now we're multiplying. So 9 times 8 is 72.
Mm.
And then we're going to add these numbers up and subtract that from the 72. So we get 20. Trying to add some together, but I don't see any. So we're going to do 21, 12, and 6. So we got 41 and 18. So what I did was I did mental math. 20 and 21 is 41. 6 and 12 is 18. So 41 plus 18 is 59. So we subtract that from the 72 and we get 13.
Mm.
So that new value would be 13. But
Mm.
remember that last step though, let's check it. So let's
Mm.
add all the numbers so that new number is 13, right? So let's check it. So you want to always, that's the last step in math. Okay, so 13. So I'm gonna take my calculator. So if you have a set of multiple choice values, then what you could do instead of even doing all that is just plug each of the values in. So I have, so let me go right there. So I got 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 12 plus 6 plus 10 plus 11. And then the new value we said was 13 plus 13. That gives us a total of 72. We're going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's see if we get a mean of 9. Yes, we do. So that tells you our answer was correct. So, for example, say you had multiple choice of 11, 12, 13, and 14. What I would do is I would just add these numbers out. So I would use the calculator.
Mm.
And what I would do, and this is, everybody learns differently, everybody does things differently. But what I would do is I would say, okay, I would use my calculator. Ah, see, let me put it over there before. Let me see if I can get, there we go. What I would do is I would hit my data and I will put each of those numbers in. Oops. Let me clear everything out. And I will put them in. So 5, 7, 8, 12, 6, 10, and 11. Oops. Right? My multiple choice got 4 different numbers. So first I'm going to put 11 in. I'm going to go to second, data. We got one variable, and we're going to calculate. And let's see if our average is 9. So when we look at our average, which is the X bar, which is here, it says 8.75. So I know it's not 11. Right? So I go back in to my calculator. And I change that last number to 12. And I do the same thing. Second data, one variable, calculate. See what my average is? 8.875. So I know it's not B. Go to my third one. Instead of 12, put 13, hit enter. Second data, one variable, calculate. I look at my X bar and I see my average is 9. Now I'm done. So either way, again, you can solve it algebraically, or you could do it this way by using your multiple choice. They're going to give you a problem like that. So and so let me, how do I, Mr. Tensley, well, how do you know these things, right? Of course, they're not going to, I can't guarantee because I'm not the test maker, right? But let me see. Is it on here? Oh, it's not one of the most missed questions. Is it on here? Nope. So this is but I know it's a lot of times just hearing feedback from people that's on there. But this is a list of the most commonly missed questions. Now, this was years ago, so they haven't released a new one. But just in terms of uh, thousands, tens of thousands of people that take the exam over a year, this is the area. These are the areas that they said people had the most issue with, right? All right. So that's mean, median, mode, and range. Now you can almost, I mean, you can probably put money on that you're gonna see mean and median. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me go to a new one. Watch this. I'm gonna put. So I use this. I was showing this website to someone over the weekend who I was tutoring, and they changed it to update it. But I have a video on my YouTube channel and why I like it so much. So let me see if I can get back into it. Hopefully I can, because every time I should be saving my password, but I don't. Let's see if I can get in. Let's see. And I didn't. Hold on. Let me see if I saved it. Give me 1 second. I think I saved it this last weekend. Let's hope I did. But this was a um a book publisher called New Readers Press had created this site, and they just updated it recently.
Mm.
And what I like about it is that it simulates a lot of the questions that's on the exam. So I'm going to show it to you. Hopefully I can log in, and hopefully. Mm-mm-mm. Come on. I know I saved you with it, right? Come on. All right. It looks like I did. For some reason, it is not showing up. But let me try this password here. Hopefully this is working. And let's see. Hopefully that's it. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, it looked like it's all right. So what we can do is mean, median, we're gonna go to graphs, data analysis, and probability. That's the area. So if you notice, you got thinking skills, your reading, science, and social studies, mathematics, fractions, decimal, percents, proportions, mathematics, measurement, geometry, graphs, data analysis, probability. Now, I'm not saying you still can't use my site, of course, but this is one of the sites that I do like. A lot of times, one of the reasons why I don't like it is because um, it's not a secure site, but you don't have to put any credit card information or any pertinent information into the site. So that's why a lot of people don't use it because it's not secure. But let's go to data analysis. And why they don't have it secure, I have no idea, because I know New Readers Press probably have a secure certificate online. But let me show you why I like it, and why I would suggest probably using it. And again, you can see that it's not just for math, it's for several subject areas, right? So let's try to find mean, median, mode, and range. Here's one right here. What is the median price for flowers, right? So what does median mean? Does anybody know? When they tell you to find a median, what does that mean?
Middle? Is that the middle?
Middle, right? So the first thing we have to do when we're talking about finding the median is put the numbers in order. Are these numbers in order already?
Yeah.
Yeah, they already in order from lowest to highest. So front, back,
And then
back,
add up.
nice and easy. 7, because you're finding the middle. So you don't have to add them. Add them
Oh,
is for if you're finding the mean.
oh, okay. For
Add
the
them and then
mean.
divide by how many there
Those
are.
are the ones I mix up, the mean and the median. So
So
okay.
so every time you read a problem, say it. So just like Javette said, it's the middle, right? So anytime you read the word median, say middle too, right behind it.
Middle.
That
What is
way,
the medium? It's the middle.
you're right. You want to find the middle. So 7 would be that answer. So what I like about this is, so you hit your 7, you go to the next question.
Mm.
It says the mode of the price of flowers is what? What a number appears the most?
Five.
5.
5. Nice and easy. It's not difficult.
Wow.
A lot of times on the
Make it
GED,
difficult.
they might give you population, they might give you these numbers to just remember. Well, mean is the average, add them up, divide by how many there are. Median is the middle, make sure they're in order first. Mode, you're probably not going to see. Range is the highest minus the lowest. So here, when they talk about range, we're just taking the highest minus the lowest. So 10 minus 5 is what? 5. So a lot of people get really worked up about mean, median, mode, or range. They're not
Me.
difficult. The reason is, like you said, people get median and mean confused. Okay, so let's look at this one. So this is similar to the one I just said, I believe, right?
Yes.
No, this is just the average.
Yeah, you
So
put
all
them
you're
in.
doing is doing the average. So now you're adding them up. Again, I would use my calculator. I wouldn't even, to me, I wouldn't even think about doing it any other way. If they give you all the numbers, I would just go to my calculator. Let me clear everything out. Now, on this program, they do have an online calculator, so you can use that. And even this calculator that you see on screen that I'm using, you can get it from Texas Instruments. They have a free download for 90 days. So if you don't have it already, look at one of my videos. I give you the link to download the trial version. So again, all I'm doing is 10, 11, 20, 8, 12, 9, 22, 11, 16, 11. Second data, one variable, calculate. If you notice, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. So I'm walking through it, but I'm also solidifying how I do it on the calculator. My average is the X bar, which is 13.
13.
So again, that's why I like this site, because it gives you a lot of word problems. Similar to the GED exam, it is free. I'll make sure I put it in the chat. So we said our average was 13. Let me see if I can find one with a missing value. I haven't used this site since they added this new questions, except for the everyday. Here we go. If Daisy counts one more sheet of stickers, the new average is 12, right? So that those two questions, previous question, this questions are related. So what we did was he already had the total. Let's see. Already had, no, we didn't have the total. So what I would do is see how they put these numbers here. What I would do is after I did this, let me see if I can make it. Okay, there we go. What I would do is I would go back to data and I would go to my last number and I would put these in. I'll put 3 and then second data, one variable, calculate. Now I'm looking for the new average of 12. That's 11. So since 3, the average is 11, I know it's not 2 because 2 is lower, a lower number, so we'd have a lower average. So let me try 5. Back to data, change that last number from 3 to 5, which is the next one. Second data, one variable, calculate. Again, see how I'm walking myself through it? The average is 12.2. So I know now it ain't 5. So now by process of elimination, I know it's 4. But let's just check it. And this comes from just practicing with the calculator and knowing how to use it. Second data, one variable, calculate. Average is 11 with 12.18. What is it? Yeah, average. So that's the one that's close. I guess they rounding off. That's the one that's closest to 12, which is 4. Okay. So now say we finish taking this practice. We're not, but say we did finish, right? What I like about it is, so we go to next, next. And again, this is 10 questions. So you after doing this, and or just like on my site, after doing 10, 12, 15 questions, you should know whether you know how to do these or not, right? But what I like about this one here is just like mine, it'll tell you whether the question is right or wrong. So we got the first 4 right, of course, but then it'll say, okay, number 5 was wrong. Go here, and we can try it again. Now I don't see how they said it was wrong because we put the numbers in, but hey, but you get to review it. What I also like about it is you have a version of the calculator that you can use. You can flag it for review, come back to it. But what I also like is they give you an explanation of how to do it. Again, what they did was they added them up. Maybe they changed the numbers from the previous one. Let me check. So let me grab my calculator real quick and we'll do it the regular way. Let's see. I assume they didn't change the numbers. I shouldn't assume anything. So let's just do the numbers again. 10, we do it this way here. 10 plus 11 plus 20 plus 8 plus 12 plus 9 plus 22 plus 11 plus 16 plus 11. So let's look at our total. We got 130. They said the new average is 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 12 times 11. We get 132. We subtract that total we made before minus 130. So maybe they changed the numbers, but we got 2. That's why they marked it incorrect. But that's how you would do that problem. Either way. See that? See how you shouldn't assume? I assume they were the same numbers. But there you go. But that's why I like using this site. And what I'll do is I'll send it out in the link for after the video tonight. It's online practice at newreaderspress.com. Now, what you have to do is when you sign up, you have to say accept pop-ups. So what happens is this is why it's not considered secure, because those pop-ups is sometimes how people used to spread viruses and stuff like that. But for this site, I've been using it for years. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, what's next? What's next? Let me log out of that. What's next? What do we have next? So mean, median, mode, and range. Any other questions?
Can you show me what I don't know how to Pythagorean, the P.
Pythagorean theorem.
Mhm.
All right, let me see if I can find one. Pythagorean theorem. What is Pythagorean theorem? Do you know?
I remember from looking at it. I forgot what it was on the top of my head.
Is what?
I forgot. I remember looking
Only
at it out the top of my head.
I didn't take the notes, but I have it on my.
Okay, this is what you got to remember about the Pythagorean theorem. So first of all, the reason why most people can't do it because they don't know why,
What it
when
is,
to
yeah.
use it. So you use Pythagorean theorem when you're trying to find the missing side of a right triangle. So first of all, you must know what a right triangle is. A right triangle is a triangle that has one of its angles as 90 degrees. Okay, so this is an example of a right triangle. You have 3 sides, A, B, and C. Now, again, if you want to go over to on my YouTube channel, I got one video explicitly for Pythagorean theorem, but we can do it again. What's important is A and B are interchangeable. Doesn't matter. You can call A B, you can call B A. But the side opposite the 90-degree angle must be C, and it's called your hypotenuse.
Mm.
So 2 vocabulary words we want to make sure we understand. Pythagorean theorem, when is it used? Which is to find a missing side of a right triangle. And the hypotenuse, which is the side opposite the 90-degree angle. We also know about the hypotenuse, it is always the longest leg. It is always the longest leg. So now the equation, if you look at your formula sheet, the formula of the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the a corresponds to the first leg of the triangle.
Mm.
B corresponds to the second leg of the triangle, and the C corresponds to the hypotenuse. So when we look at this example, it says the foundation of a building is in the shape of a rectangle with the length of 20 meters and a width of 18 meters. To the nearest meter, what is the distance from the top left corner? So this is what caused the confusion for people. It's because they said the top left corner to the bottom right, right? But this is what you have to remember. Remember what I told you. Identify your givens. I identify what they give you. First of all, they told us that this was a rectangle. They told us that two sides of a rectangle are 18 and 20. So what they didn't say explicitly, but what we know is opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So I know this side is 18, this side is 20. So now you should see the right triangle right there with a leg of 18, a leg of 20, and an unknown hypotenuse, right? So right away, what you should know is that if my legs are 18 and 20, that my hypotenuse must be larger than 20. So I know it's not 19. They added these up, 18 plus 20.
38.
That's why they have 38. But that's not what we need to do. So remember, A is 18. So we got 18 squared plus B is 20, 20 squared equal C squared. So now, to me, I would use my calculator because does anybody know what 18 squared is? Does any,
64? Is it?
huh?
Is it 64? No.
No, not 18 squared. That's 8 squared. 18 squared. That's a big number. So
Yes.
again, we can use our calculator.
Mm-hmm.
Let me clear this out.
The times itself.
18 squared. Right. So what you can do is you can times it by yourself, but with the calculator, it gives you the square button. Just put 18 squared in. Remember, it's still the same as squared means 18 times 18. So were you right? Correct. You were correct. It's being multiplied by itself. That is correct. So we got 324. Now this is easy. 20 times 20, 2 times 2 is 4. And we got two zeros equals C squared. So we can easily see 324 and 400 is 724 equals C squared. Well, I don't see 724, but we also don't see C equals. It says C squared. What is the opposite of squaring something? What is the opposite of squaring something? Does anybody know the inverse operation of squaring?
Square root. I don't know.
Square root. So we take the square root of
Oh,
both
God.
sides.
Yes.
So we get C equal the square root of 724. Again, we're not doing this by hand. I don't know what the square root of 724 is by hand. So we do second, 724, press enter. Now it gives us another radical. We just hit those double arrows. And it's going to give us our decimal. So 26.9, our answer is 27. Now, that's how you do it algebraically. How I explain it in my ebook is that once you identify this as a right triangle, what you're going to put in your calculator so I give you a shortcut. If you already know that the Pythagorean theorem is going to be on your exam and it's only 3 formulas that you got to remember, I would commit these to memory. If I'm trying to find C, I'm taking the square root of A squared plus B squared. If I'm looking for side A, it's the square root of C squared minus B squared. If I'm looking for side B, is the square root of C squared minus A squared. So all you are responsible for is knowing that this is A, this is B, and this is C. This is the unknown value. So I'm going to use this formula. Watch what happens Once I know that, I don't have to waste my time doing all that work. Watch this. Let me clear the calculator so we can see everything nice and clear. Watch this. Square root a squared plus b squared, 18 squared plus 20 squared. Press my enter, hit my double arrows to see my decimal. I'm done. 3 seconds.
Mm.
So can we do it algebraically? Yes. Should you know how to do it algebraically? Yes. But once you do, I would use the calculator. So when you see this problem, you don't have to waste a whole lot of time. So instead of you spending 1 or 2 minutes or even 3 minutes on this problem, I just showed you in 5 seconds how to do it. And it doesn't matter what it is. For example, let me give another example. I'm just going to make these numbers up. 10 and 26. Okay. I know this. So again, so what we're doing is identifying what we know and we don't know. This is a right triangle. So I have a missing side. That's how I know to use Pythagorean theorem. This is A, this is B, this is C. I don't know what B is. So we're using this formula right here. So all I'm going to do is go to my calculator. Square root C squared, 26 squared, minus 10 squared. Press enter, and I'm done. Look at that, 24. I know my missing side is 24. And this is what I try to explain to people. Why you studying for this exam, I would first take that ebook, study for about 2 weeks, do the exercises with the calculator, because then when you get to the word problems, you're going to be able to identify what type of problem it is, how can I use my calculator, and how can I move quickly. Instead of spending 3 and 4 minutes, I just did in 10 seconds. So again, that's what I would recommend. You don't have to do it, but that's what I would do. And then I would do practice problems on my site, but for Pythagorean theorem. You're going to be guaranteed Pythagorean theorem. You can put money on it. You're going to have one. Okay. All right. So does that answer your question, Destiny?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
It makes it a lot easier, right?
Yeah, you make it look really easy.
So make sure you write those down. Do you have the TI-30XS calculator?
Yes, I do.
So what I would do is immediately, I would say, okay, let me go to this practice problems. Let me identify A, B, and C. Let me plug into my calculator. Can I get these problems right? Correct. Because once you do something once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, what happens is you have confidence that you could do it.
Yeah.
Right? I got my ID on. Oh my goodness. Let me take this. Sorry about that. I got my temple shirt on. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I'm all branded all up on the screen. Oh, all right. I'm gonna hold my I can't even hold it because that's my right side. Okay. It's too late now. And don't worry, I'm not gonna worry about it. But again, take your time, go through the ebook, do those lessons, practice. For example, on the calculator, you should know how to do all your squares, square roots, and cube roots. For example, 5 squared. You should be able to know right away where to go. 6 squared, 5 cubed. So what you realize is this. Let me change my color to red. This is what I'm using for squared and square root. Only difference is if I need square root, I'm using second. To raise to a power other than the second power, I use the caret. So you practice using those. So every time you type in, what I would do is I would practice 1 to 15, 1 to 15 for your squares and square roots. And then 1 to 5, 1 to 5 for your cubes, and then multiples of 10. So what do I mean by that? Okay, let me show you. So 1 squared equal 1, 2 squared equal 4, 3 squared equal 9, 4 squared equal 16. So you should know 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4. Okay, that's fine, but I want you to go up to 15. So on your calculator, you just practice and go 1 squared, putting it in. And you say the answer before you press it. 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. And then you turn around and you do the opposite. The square root of 16 is the base, which is 4. The square root of 9, which is the base, is 3. So you turn right back around and practice putting that in your calculator.
Okay.
Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 9 is 3. Oops. It's 3. That way you know them. So when you go to see Pythagorean theorem, you know your squares and your square roots already. And that's one of the first 5 problems that most people miss is your square roots, cube, and cube roots.
Yeah.
I already know. Most square roots, cube, and cube roots. Most people miss one of the most missed questions. All right, what's next?
Mm.
Anything you've been working on? Anything you missed? Anything while you was going over that you didn't understand? Because I think most of your time, to me, should be spent on everything algebra, linear equations. And then you spend time on the harder stuff, quadratic equations, system of equations. Because 55% of your exam is algebra, 25%. Now, linear equations is kind of part of algebra too, but linear equations is 25%. So if you have like, it's funny because somebody sent me let me see, was this the question they sent me? Let me see if I can find it. I think we did right here, number 19. So this is a sample test from the high set. Now, I don't know if you'll explicitly have to multiply polynomials. You probably will, but they won't be this difficult. High set, this question is a little bit more difficult, but it's very similar to multiplying binomials. So this is a binomial because you got 2 terms. This is a quadrinomial because it's 4 terms. But what happens is people get intimidated. So what happened was this young lady who sent me this in the email, she knew how to multiply binomials. She got every single question that she did correctly. But when she did this problem, she got it incorrect. So what I told her was, first of all, when you're looking at a problem like this, identify what you know. First of all, you know that you multiplying because product is another word for multiply. The second thing I would identify is that -7 times +5 is -35. So I know that's going to be my last term. So I know it can't be A. I know it can't be E. So I just eliminated 2 of the problems without doing anything. So at least now I got a better chance. So let me show you how we would do this. So -3x squared plus 5 times x to the third plus 3x squared minus x minus 7. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you this high set problem, but then I'm also going to show you what's expected on the GED. Okay. Now, this is the same concepts. It's just that these have more terms. You have a binomial, which meaning 2. This has 4 terms, but you're doing the same thing. Oops, let me change my color. So this first term times everything in the second parenthesis. So -3 times 1 is -3. X squared times x to the third is x to the fifth. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. 2 times 3 is 6. Where'd you get 5 from? Well, one of the rules of exponents is when you're multiplying exponents with the same base, you add the exponents. So this is x to the 7th. So here, x squared times x to the third is x to the 5th because 2 plus 3 is 5. Then you multiply this term by the second term. Again, you're multiplying the coefficients first. -3 times +3 is -9. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th because 2 plus 2 is 4. You take this term and multiply it by the third term. Minus 3 times minus 1 is a positive 3. X squared times x is x to the third. Because you don't see a 1 there, you don't see an exponent, it is a 1. 3x to the third. And then you multiply this first term by the last one. Minus 3 times minus 7 is plus 21. And you bring that x squared along with you. Okay. So that's the first step, which is pretty long. Right? So my first term is all minus 3x to the fifth. My second term is minus 9x to the fourth. My third term here is plus 2x to the third, 8x to the third, and 8x to the third. So we got to now multiply this 5 by everything in the other parentheses. So 5x to the third. So we already know that we're going to have 8x to the third. So I can get rid of b. 5 times 3x squared, 5 times 3 is 15x squared. So we get 36x squared. We know it's not c. We don't have to do any more because we eliminated all 4 answers. Now, if we were doing this algebraically, we have to multiply this 5 times minus x and then plus 5 times minus 7, which is minus 35. So then when we combine these, we have minus 3x to the fifth, minus 9x to the fourth, plus 8x to the third, plus 36x squared, minus 5x, minus 35. But I didn't have to do all those steps because I eliminated them by knowing what the last term was going to be in the first term. And then I use my distributive property, or what some people call FOIL. I usually don't use that. I just use distributive, means I'm multiplying everything in this parentheses by everything in this parentheses each term, right? But guess what? This is a high set problem. For most intents and purposes, your problem is not going to be this difficult in the GED. But you should know how to do it. Because that young lady said, I know how to multiply binomials, means she remembered how to do it. She didn't understand the steps that I'm multiplying by each term in the second parentheses. Because if she would have known that, she would have got this problem right. So let's look at a problem from the study guide for the GED of multiplying binomials. See if I can find one fairly quickly. Let's see. Hopefully we can. Here we go, right there. So let's use some strategy to this again. So first of all, right away, I know my last term is going to be minus y times plus y. So minus y times y. So remember, this is like a 1. You don't see an exponent. So we add the ones. A negative times a positive is a negative. 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is minus y squared. So I know my last term is minus y squared. I know it can't be d. I know it can't be c. So right away, I got rid of 2 just by knowing what the last term was. So even if you know how to do this problem, at least now you got a 50-50 chance, right? So let's do the problem all the way out. 2x times 3x. Again, let's walk through the steps. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. So I know my first term is x squared. I'm done. I don't got to do anything else. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the whole problem so you see it. So now I'm going to multiply this 2x times y. 2x times y, which is 2xy. It's no, we don't have to use our exponent rules because they're two different variables. We just bring them along with us. So we multiplied that first term by everything in the second parentheses. Now we got to do here. So minus y times 3x. A minus times a positive is a negative. 3, and bring along the xy. But we got to put them in that alphabetical order. Remember, we got to have a certain order. So it's highest degree in alphabetical order. And then minus y times plus y is minus y squared. We already did that, but I'll do it again. What you should recognize now is 6x squared. These are like terms because they share the same variables. So I'm going to take the two coefficients plus 2 and minus 3, and I'm going to combine those, and I get minus 1. So I'm going to get minus 1 xy, and then minus y squared. Because it's a 1, you never see a coefficient with a 1. So this is the same as 6x squared minus xy minus y squared. So that's how you would do it algebraically. My advice to you is this. Let me save this. My advice to you is this. Watch this. My first term is 6x squared. My last term is minus y squared. Bang, bang, bang. I'm done 5 seconds. You didn't have to do all that work. On a high set, they made all those answers look so close to each other that you got to do all the work out. On this, you don't, because I know the first term is 6x squared. So I can get rid of this one right away. And this one right away. I know my last term is minus y squared. I can get rid of this one right away. 5-second problem. I'm done. I'm feeling good about myself. And the problem is with math is because as you're getting problems right, your self-esteem is going up. Your confidence is going up. The reason why people have issues passing the math is because when they don't understand something and they're getting problems wrong, they start getting frustrated. They start getting anxious. And this is why you practice enough. And this is why I created this site with CK12, Khan Academy, and my practice problems. So whatever concept you're on, you can do enough practice problems. So when you get to your exam, remember, the GED is only 58% that you need to get right. So if you're getting 70, 75, 80% correct, you got that concept down. Let's move to the next thing. I got this. And that's all you got to do. So again, multiplying binomials is what's on the GED. So again, 1, 2 terms, binomial, bi meaning 2. This is also a binomial. So this is what they call multiplying binomials. This is what's expected of you for the GED. On that high set problem, yes, is that more difficult? But you still should understand the concept. I'm multiplying everything in the first parentheses by everything in the second parentheses. I'm combining like terms, right? And then I'm getting my answer. So let's do another practice problem. I'm just going to make one up. So I'm going to say 3x squared minus 5 times x plus 5. So 3x times x. So I get 3x to the third. Why? Because 2 plus 1 is 3. You don't see a 1 there.
Right.
3 times 1 is 3.
Right.
3x squared times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to bring along my variable because there's no variable here, x squared. I've finished with the first term. I'm going to take my second term now. Let me change the blue. I'm taking this minus 5 and multiplying by this first term. Minus 5 times x is minus 5x. Minus 5 times plus 5 is minus 25. There are no like terms because these variables are not the same. I got x cubed, x squared, and x. So all I'm doing is bringing everything down. 3x to the third plus 15x squared minus 5x minus 25. So remember, a binomial times a binomial. 2 times 2 is 4. You're going to have 4 terms. Now, if you have like terms, you can combine them, and you may have 3 terms, like the other example we just used. But when you first multiply everything out, you're going to have 4 terms. Got me?
Yes.
All right. All right, what's next? One more question because it's about still after 6. One more question. Let me ask you a question. So remember I told you about combining like terms. That was multiplying, right? So let's look at this one here. If you notice, it says x plus 8 times x plus 4, right? So remember, x times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 8 times x is 8x. And then 8 times 4 is a positive 32. Remember I told you about combining like terms? They both have the variable x. So I combine that 4 and the 8. So 4 plus 8 is 12. So I got x squared plus 12x plus 32, right? So that's one example you should be able to do. Again, multiplying binomials. Now, that second example, they're saying factor. Oh, Mr. Tizzy, that's what you mean factor. What they're going to do is they'll say factor 3x squared minus 10x minus 8, right? But what they'll do is they'll have the answers. Hold on for a second. Let me do the answer real quick. All right, hold on. So I just did it algebraically real quick, but what I want to show you is a shortcut. Okay, this is what I want to show you right here. So I did it, I solved it very quickly algebraically. I did it very quickly algebraically. That problem is considered a difficult problem and would take you 5 to 6 minutes. What I'm going to show you is the shortcut, and you should be prepared for it. So if they give you that problem and they say factor, get my pen again, I'm gonna change it back to red. Factor 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. They're going to have A, which is 3x minus 2 times x minus 4. They're going to have B, 3x plus 2, x plus 4. They're going to have C, 3x plus 2, x minus 4. And then they're going to have D, 3x minus 2 times x plus 4. So they're giving you the multiple choice. And try to, instead of trying to solve this algebraically, if you know how to multiply binomials, watch me solve this problem very quickly. My last number needs to be a minus 8. Minus 2 times a minus 4. Two negatives, when you multiply them together, give you a what?
Positive.
So I can't be A. Plus 2 times plus 4 also gives you a positive 8. It can be B. So I know right now those are gone. Without even knowing how to do this problem, now I have a 50-50 chance to get it right. But then what you do is do what I just showed you. The skill to multiply binomials. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times minus 4 is minus 4x. Plus 2 times x is plus 2x. So right there, I already know that's minus 2x. Look at that. But my middle term needs to be what? Minus 10. So I know it's not C. So without doing all that computation that I'm solving algebraically, what we did was say, okay, let me look at the multiple choice. Let me get rid of two of the answers because I know what the first term and the last term is going to be. So I know I'm going to have 3x squared as my first term and minus 8 is my last term. So I get rid of two right away. But let me show you. Let me clear this out. Clear all this out. Let's do the last one so you can see it. Once you know the answer, watch this. Take my pencil. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 4. Oops, that would have been minus 4. That should have been minus 4 and a plus 2. It should have been, oops. Let me clear it out. Let me erase that. Watch this. 3x squared minus 12x plus 2x minus 8. We have like terms. 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. Again, a lot of these problems that they consider difficult normally would take you 4 and 5 minutes. What I'm trying to show you is small little shortcuts that will eliminate some of the time you need to spend on those harder problems. My second advice, my second piece of advice could also be this. If they tell you the fact that 3x squared minus 10x minus 8, you don't not do it right away. It's considered a hard problem. Flag it for review because you know the next one is going to be easy.
Okay.
But again, practice. Like to me, like I can do this problem in 2 seconds. X squared plus 12x plus 32. Because there's a shortcut to the madness. If your coefficient of your variable is 1, watch this. 8 minus 3 is 5. So x squared plus 5x. And then 8 times minus 3 is minus 24. So I combine the two numbers. If your coefficient of the variables is 1, 8 minus 3 is 5. So that's going to be the coefficient of my middle term. So I got x squared plus 5x. And then 8 times minus 3 is minus 24. What? Hold on. Mr. Tizzy, why you ain't show me that first? Watch this. Let me show you really quickly. X minus 7, x minus 3. I know x times x is x squared. Minus 7 minus 3 is minus 10. So minus 10x minus 3 times minus 3 is positive 21. I'm done. Now, I could do it the long way. X squared. Let me change my color. X squared minus 3x minus 7x plus 21. These are like terms. Minus 3 minus 7 is minus 10. But I still get the same exact answer. Because remember what I told you, math is about patterns. And once you start seeing those patterns, you start connecting those dots and you identifying your givens, identifying the formula, these questions will be much easier. So don't get worked up about the word problems. First, understand the computation, how to use the calculator, and then practice using those word problems. And then you'll start, what happens, you'll start getting them right. And you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. All right.
Okay.
Any questions before we leave?
No, I'm gonna rewatch.
All right. Have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna try to post this tonight. If I don't get it tonight, I'll post the first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank
You're welcome.
you. All
You guys
right.
have a good night. Thank you.